Welcome back, students. We are about to continue with the remaining portion of Act 1, Scene 2. So let's begin. We are beginning from after line 178, that is, it is 179, line number 179 that I am beginning with. Enter Caesar and his train. Well, what does train mean here? Train is that group of attendants, the group of attendants who are following Caesar. Now, Brutus says the games are done and Caesar is returning. So after the games, we know that they had gone to the capital for the games, and after the games are done, after the games are over, now Caesar is returning. Okay, and he is returning. He had gone with his attendants and he is getting back, coming down the same route. He is returning with his attendants as well. Cassius says, as they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, and he will, after his sour fashion, tell you what hath proceeded, worthy note today. That is, Casca is telling Brutus that as they pass by, as they means who? The attendants, that is the train. As they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, that is, pull Casca by the sleeve, and he will, after his sour fashion, he will, why sour? Because that is the way he talks. He talks in a very bitter way and a surly way. Surly means a very ill-tempered way. He is not very good mannered. So he will, after his sour fashion, tell you what had proceeded, worthy note today. That is, he will in his sour fashion tell you what had proceeded, what was worthy of noticing, whatever that has happened there. He will tell you whatever that was worthy of getting noticed in the games, during the games. So Brutus says, I will do so, but look you, Cassius. So Brutus says, okay, I'll do that. I'll pull Casca by the sleeve. I'll pluck Casca by the sleeve means I'll pull Casca by the sleeve. Okay, I will do so. But look you, Cassius, the angry spot doth glow on Caesar's face. That is, I will do as you are saying. And now look, the angry spot, that Caesar looks very angry. The angry spot doth glow on Caesar's face. And all the on Caesar's brow, and all the rest look like a chidden train. Calpurnia's cheek is pale, and Cicero looks with such ferret and such fiery eyes as we have seen him in the Capitol, being crossed in conference by some senators. So Brutus is saying that the angry spot that glow on Caesar's brow. Caesar is looking visibly very angry, and all the rest means all the other attendants, all the rest of the people who are following Caesar, they are looking like a chidden train. Train is the whole host of attendants who are following Caesar, and chidden means they look scolded, as if they have been very rudely behaved at, and they seems to be scolded. Okay, and all the rest look like a chidden train. Calpurnia's cheek is pale. Calpurnia looks very pale, and Cicero looks with such ferret and such fiery eyes. Who is Cicero? Cicero is a statesman, and he is also renowned as he is also renowned as a very good orator. He talks very well, and even Cicero looks very angry. He looks with such ferret and such fiery eyes. Ferret is actually a half-tamed polecat. They are used to either these ferrets. They are used to kill rats, or they are used to chase rabbits. Whatever. These animals, they have got bloodshot eyes. So Cicero's eyes, it seems, are resembling the ferret's eyes, and if Cicero is looking with angry, with the red colored eyes, it definitely means that he is looking very angry. that is, as we have seen him in the Capitol being crossed in conference by some senators. So he is, that is, if Cicero, he is being a good orator, he defends, he fights for some issues, he fights for some problems, and he is frequently found getting crossed in conference. That is, getting crossed in conference is actually, he is debating with some senators. So he actually looks very, he is looking rather very angry at that time. All right, I just said that Cicero was looking angry, but I cannot use a past tense here. Why? Because we have to always remember that we cannot use a past tense while we are answering any drama, because we have to understand that the drama is being enacted in front of us. The shows, the happenings, they are taking place in front of us. So we always have to answer and talk in the present tense whenever we are referring to any drama. So that is why I am saying Cicero is looking very angry, as we have seen him in the Capitol being crossed in conference by some senators. While getting crossed in conference, while debating with some senators, he looks similarly fiery or angry. Cassius says, Casca will tell us what the matter is. Now Caesar says, Antonius. Antony says, Caesar. Caesar says, let me have men about me that are fat, sleek-headed men, and such as sleep a nights. So Caesar says that Caesar asked Antonius to allow him to have people around him who are fat people. Actually, by fat people he means that the people should be well fed, and they are supposed to be happy, and they are supposed to be content. They are the people who are fat, they generally don't have any ill thoughts in their minds. But people who are actually always thinking about something and they are not very happy, the people who don't sleep at nights, they don't have sufficient sleep at night, they are actually not liked by Caesar. We'll find how. Sleek-headed men, such as sleep o' nights. Young Cassius has a lean and hungry look. So he is actually disturbed by the presence of Cassius, because he doesn't like the way Cassius looks. He doesn't like his he doesn't like the way he is always he has a very inquisitive, a very interrogative approach, and he feels that he shouldn't be surrounded by people, but by this sort of people rather. So he says, yond Cassius. Yond means yonder. It comes from the word yonder, means standing nearby. That is not somebody who is nearby. Yond Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He looks very thin, and he has a very hungry look. That's a person who has a very hungry look. That person definitely is not well fed. He thinks too much. That is, Cassius appears to be very, very thoughtful always, and such men he feels are dangerous. And he thinks too much. Such men are dangerous. To which Antony says, fear him not, Caesar. He is not dangerous. He is a noble Roman and well given. That is, Antony tells him not to feel frightened of Cassius, and also tries to convince him that he is not dangerous. He tells him that he is a noble Roman and well given. That is, he is well disposed. He is reasonably friendly also, and he is friendly. He is well disposed, and he is not to be felt frightened of. Caesar says now, would he were fatter? I wish he was fatter, but I fear him not. but I'm not getting frightened of him. Yet if my name were liable to fear, that is, if my name is liable to fear, means if I am susceptible to fear, if I'm a sort of a very I feel frightened at times. If I'm of that sort, actually, if I'm susceptible to fear, then I do not know the man I should avoid, because yet if my name were liable to fear, that is, if Caesar's name, if my name were liable to fear, that is, if my name was susceptible to fear, I do not know the man I should avoid. I really cannot understand the man whom I should avoid and not be in touch with. As soon as that spare Cassius. So he says that he is, because Cassius is very lean and thin, spare Cassius, very thin Cassius, and he feels that I do not know the man I should avoid. As soon as that spare Cassius, that is, he feels that he should be a bit aware of, a bit beyond Cassius, that is, he shouldn't be near Cassius. He feels the reason, he's giving the reason hereafter. He reads much. He is a great observer. That is, he observes people and he goes on reading. He reads the mind of people. He is a great observer and he looks quite through the deeds of men. That is, he looks through the deeds of men. He looks through whatever a person has achieved or is going to achieve. He loves no place as thou dost, Antony. He is not gamesome. He doesn't love plays, and as you love, Antony. He hears no music. Cassius hears no music. Seldom he smiles. He smiles very rarely, and smiles in such a sort as if he mocked himself. And he smiles in such a way as though he has made fun of himself. That is, his smile is not heartful. And a person whose smile is not heartful is a person really who is really very difficult to believe in. And scorned, as if he and smiles in such a way as if he mocked himself and scorned his spirit, that could be moved to smile at anything. That is, that can be defined as, that is, his smile cannot really be understood or assessed. Such men as he be never at heart cease, because these type of people, according to Caesar, people like Cassius, he says that these type of people are never at heart cease. They are not content, they are not happy, and because they are not happy, they cannot be trusted also. So they are never at heart cease, whilst they behold a greater than themselves. That is, whilst they behold a greater than themselves, and therefore they are very dangerous. I rather tell thee what is to be feared than what I fear. For always I am Caesar. Again he is feeling that if he admits that he is frightened of something, well, he is Caesar after all, and he shouldn't feel frightened. So he says, I rather tell thee what is to be feared. That is, I am rather telling you what is to be feared. It is not that I am getting frightened of this person. It is I am telling you in general that that these type of people in general should be avoided by everybody. It is not that I mean it for myself. That is, for always I am Caesar. He is trying to maintain his ego. Come on my right side, for this here is death. So he is calling Antony to his right side and says, for this here is death. That means Antony must have been on his left side. Please mark it. Antony must have been on his left side, and he tells and he tells him that please come to my right side, and so that for this here is deaf, which means we should keep in mind that Caesar is deaf by in his left ear. Caesar is deaf in his left ear. And tell me truly what thou thinkest of him. That is, please come to my right side and tell me clearly. That is, if Antony talks to him from his left side, he won't be able to hear. So Caesar is asking Antony to come to his right side and to explain and to tell him what exactly Antony thinks of Cassius. So with that, Senate extends Caesar and his train. Casca stays behind. So Antony, Caesar, and all the rest of the people, they go by. So who are they? Who stays back on the stage with Brutus and Cassius? Casca, because he was pulled by the sleeve. So Casca stays back. Okay. Now Casca says, "You pulled me by the cloak. Would you speak to me?" That is, you pulled me by the cloak, pulled me by the sleeve of my cloak, or pulled me by the cloak. You pulled me, and would you like to speak to me? Brutus says, "Aye, Casca, tell us what hath chanced today." That is, tell us what has happened today in the capital. What has happened today? That Caesar looks so sad. That is, why is Caesar looking so sad? Okay. Now, Casca says, "Why, you were with him, were you not?" Now, Casca, he cannot understand whether these two gentlemen, they were there in the they were there following Caesar previously or not. He hadn't actually noticed. So he's saying that you were in the you were there, were you not? Why, you were with him, were you not? Brutus says, "I should not then ask Casca what had chanced." So Brutus says, if I would have been there, I wouldn't have asked you what had happened there. So chanced is happened. Casca says, "Why, there was a crown offered him, and being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand." So Caesar was offered a crown in the Capitol, and when he was being offered the crown, he put it by with the back of his hand, and when the crown was being offered to him, he put it by with the back of his hand, and the people fell a shouting. With this, when this happened, when Caesar just put aside the crown with the back of his hand, the people, they just shouted. Brutus, what was the second noise for? Casca says, "Why, for that too." Cassius, they shouted thrice. What was the last cry for? Casca says, "Why, for that too." Brutus says, "Was the crown offered him thrice?" Casca, "I marry, was it?" So I marry means by Mary, and marry is by Mary, and he is now swearing. He is now trying to prove that whatever he is saying is the truth. Now, why marry was it? That is, it was. And he put it by thrice, every time gentler than the other. So the first time it was a good push away. He pushed away the crown. Now the second and the third time it was gentler than the previous turns. It was gentler than the previous turns. That is what can we understand from here. That is, he wanted to, but he was somehow trying to show that he is not interested in the crowd. So, and every time gentler than the other, and every putting by mine honest neighbors shouted. That is, every time he put it by my honest neighbors, that is the common people, the commoners or the plebeians, they shouted. Cassius, who offered him the crown? Casca, why, Antony? Brutus, tell us the manner of it, gentle Casca. To which Casca says, I can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. That is, I might as well be hanged, because he was somehow not feeling very comfortable, telling them. So I can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. It was mere foolery. I did not mark it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown. So what has Casca seen? That is, he has seen Mark Antony offer him the crown. Yet it was not a crown neither. It was one of the coronets. And as I told you, it was one of the coronets. And as I told you, he put it by once. But for all that, and to my thinking, he would have fain had it. That is, it was just, that is, he wanted to have it actually. He would gladly have accepted it. He wanted to have it actually. He wanted to receive the crown. He wanted to accept the crown. But that was what Casca, as a person who was watching, he felt. Then he offered it to him again, and he put it by again. But to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. That is, he was very reluctant to take away his hands off the crown. And then he offered it the third time, and he put it the third time by. He put it away, he pushed it away the third time. Still as he refused it, the rabblement shouted. When he put it by the third time, the rabblement, or the mob, or the plebeians, the commoners, they shouted, they hooted and clapped their chapped hands. Why chapped hands? Because they belong to the working class, and because they are working, their hands are coarse from whatever work they do. They are not, that is, they have to go on doing very hard work, and their hands have become very coarse and hard. So that is why their hands are known as chapped hands. They are not very soft hands. And threw up their sweaty nightcaps. They had their sweaty nightcaps on. They threw up their sweaty nightcaps and uttered such a deal of stinking breath. They uttered a deal of stinking breath under breath, and that is because that is the normal way they talk. Because Caesar refused the crown. Why were they shouted? Why were these people overexcited? Because Caesar was refusing the crown, and he had done it, and he has been doing it 3 times. So that it had almost choked Caesar. It had almost choked Caesar. For he swooned and fell down at it. That is, he immediately fell down senseless. For mine own part, I durst not laugh, for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air. Because at this, I choose to be quiet, and I don't want to open my lips because I don't want to receive any bad air, or I don't want to be a part of any. I just want to be quiet. I don't want to open my lips. He doesn't want to talk anymore about it. So Cassius says, but soft, I pray you. What? Did Caesar swoon? That is, he fell down senseless and he fainted. Brutus says, 'tis very like. He has the falling sickness. Now what is the falling sickness? That disease called epilepsy. A person falls down, faints, and then after some time comes back to his senses. So Casca says, he fell down in the marketplace and foamed at the mouth and was speechless. So he foamed at the mouth, foam started coming up from his mouth, and he lay down speechless. Why? How? Why speechless? Because he had fainted. How could he talk? Cassius says, no, Caesar hath it not, but you and I. And honest Casca, we have the falling sickness. Because Cassius, we have seen even previously, that is, whenever if Caesar has had any sort of fever, he decided to take advantage of it. We've seen him talking in this way. When Caesar was not able to swim, he regarded that as though he's getting disqualified to be contesting for the post of the king. So here again, when Caesar had fallen down senseless, Cassius says that no, it is not Caesar who has the falling sickness, it is we who have the falling sickness. Brutus, Cassius, Casca, we have the falling sickness. So he is refusing to believe that he has epilepsy and he can fall down and he can be a subject to that illness of which he is a part, he is carrying it along. Casca says, I know not what you mean by that. I cannot understand what you mean by that, but I am sure Caesar fell down. But I know that Caesar has fallen down. If the Tagrag people did not clap him, that is Tagrag people again, rabblemen, Tagrag people, plebeians, commoners, mean the same. Okay. If the Tagrag people did not clap him and hiss him, according as he pleased and displeased them, as they used to do in the players in the theatre, I am no true man. That is, this is what has actually happened. That is, if I am not telling you the truth, I am no true man. If the Tagrag people had actually, the rabblemen, the mob actually brought him back to his senses, how did they do that? They clapped at him, they hissed at him, they tried to, in their own way, bring him back to his senses. Brutus, what said he when he came unto himself? That is, what did he say when he came to his senses? When he came unto himself means when he came to his senses. Mary, before he fell down, Casca says, Mary means again by Mary, he is swearing again. He is always trying to prove that whatever he is saying is the truth. Mary, before he fell down, when he perceived the common horde was glad, he refused the crown, he plucked me ope his doublet. He felt that when he heard the when the commoners had started shouting, and he felt that perhaps the commoners were happy that he had refused the crown. So he plucked me ope his doublet. Doublet, what is a doublet? A jacket, a sort of a jacket worn by the people of ancient Rome, of the Elizabethans rather, because Shakespeare had written this during the Elizabethan time. Alright, and so he plucked me ope his doublet, he plucked me open that, ope means open that jacket, and offered them his throat to cut. Okay, offered whom? Offered the people, the commoners, he offered them his throat to cut. And I had been a man of any occupation if I would not have taken him at a word. I might go to hell among the rogues. That is, and I had been a man of any occupation if I would not have taken him at a word. I might go to hell among the rogues. And so he fell. So he immediately fell down. When he came to himself again, he said, if he had done or said anything amiss. So Brutus was saying that what did he say when he came back to his senses? And here is Casca telling him, when he came to himself again, he said, if he had done or said anything amiss, that is, anything that he should not have said, if he had by chance said any such thing, he desired their worships to think that it was his infirmity. That is, he desired them, he hoped that they should think, he desired that they should think that it was his infirmity, and that it was it was his disability. It was his disability, his health condition. According to his, unfortunately, he was not able to do that. But whatever he has said was his disability. 3 or 4 benches where I stood, cried, "Alas, good soul," and forgave him with all their hearts. But there's no heed to be taken of them. But there's no, you should not be bothered about them. There's no heed to be taken about them. No importance should be given to them, because if Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they would have done no less. Because if Caesar would have stabbed their mothers, they would have done no less. That is, they would have reacted equally badly. So Brutus says now, and after that he came thus sad away. So after that, what happened? He came sadly away from that place. So Cassius says, Cassius, did Cicero say anything? I'm sorry. Cassius says, he spoke Greek. Now, Cicero is well known. Is a well-known orator, as I've said, and he knew Greek too well. He was a Grecian. Because of his Grecian skill in that, he was known as a Grecian because he was very skilled in that language, of the Greek language. So it can be that he had spoken Greek, and it can also be that whatever is spoken was not understood by him. So anyway, he says, he spoke Greek. So we will understand that Cicero, being a good orator, and he had a good mastery of that language, Greek language. So he was known as he was a very well-known Grecian, and he actually was very skilled, and so we can take him that he had spoken Greek. But those that understood him, that is, there can be two things. He spoke Greek in the language, or else whatever he spoke could not be understood by Casca. Nay, and I tell you that I'll never look you in the face again. But those that understood him smiled at one another. That is, some people who understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me. That is, possibly he could not understand anything what Cicero had said. I could tell you more news too. That is, he says, Casca says that I can tell you some more news also. That is, Marullus and Flavius for pulling scarves off Caesar's images. Do you remember from the first scene that Marullus and Flavius, they are the two tribunes, and they were on their way to disrobe the images of Caesar if they would have been decorated by, if they had any decorations on. So because they were going on doing that, they were pulling the scarves off. That is, they were disrobing the images, they were taking off the decorations. So what were they do? What was being done to them? What has been done to them? Marullus and Flavius for pulling scarves off Caesar's images are put to silence. They are put to silence. Put to silence means they must have been either dismissed from their service or they must have been killed. Fare you well. There was more foolery yet, if I could remember it. That is, Casca now bids them farewell and wants to go. He has talked enough and he wants to go away now. He wants to go on his way. To which Cassius says, will you sup with me tonight, Casca? That is, will you take your supper with me tonight? Will you dine with me tonight, Casca? So Casca says, no, I am promised forth. That is, I am promised elsewhere to have dinner. I am promised with elsewhere, that is, with somebody else to have dinner. Okay, I am going to have dinner with somebody else, as has been already promised. Promised forth, I have been promised beforehand that I would be going and dining with somebody else. So Cassius says, will you dine with me tomorrow? Aye, if I be alive, and your mind hold, and your dinner worth the eating. So Casca, he is very sarcastic, we all know. that is we've been understanding with the way he's talking. So he says, okay, I means it's okay. If I be alive, I can come and have dinner with you. And your mind hold, that is, if you don't change your mind that you would want to dine with me, then I may have dinner with you. And your dinner worth the eating. If your food which you're serving is worth the eating, then I may as well have dinner with you. So with that, Cassius says, good, I expect you. Casca says, do so, farewell both. Brutus, what a blunt fellow is this grown to be. He was a quick metal when he went to school. So Brutus says that what a blunt fellow he is grown to be. He looks so blunt nowadays. He was very witty, and when he used to go to school, he had he used to be reasonably good, a very lively character and a very intelligent person then. Cassius says, so is he now in execution. That is, he is executing some duties of any bold or noble enterprise. That is, he is carrying out some bold and noble duties. However, he puts on this tardy form. He puts on the form which shows him that, which makes him look very stupid and foolish. This rudeness is a sauce to his good wit. That is, this rudeness, he is rude, so his good wit, that is his intelligence, is getting rather, people are feeling that, let us listen to him. Why is he being so rude? So, because he is rude, his ill-tempered manner makes us appreciate his intelligence. It is because of that is being a part of his character now, which gives men stomach to digest his word. And because he is ill-mannered, because he is saying it in an ill-tempered way, people are actually getting the notion, is coming under the notion to getting eager to know what he wants to say with better appetite. Is people are taking whatever he is saying with in a very good approach. People are taking it in with a good appetite, means people are accepting whatever behavior he is extending. Brutus, and so it is. For this time I will leave you. So Brutus accepts it, yes, and so it is. For this time I will leave you. For now I will also leave you. Brutus is taking leave. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, that is tomorrow if you want to talk to me, I will come home to you, or you will. That is, if you want to talk to me tomorrow, I will go to your house, or you come to mine, and I will wait for you, or you will come home to me and I will wait for you. So Cassius says, I will do so. Now okay, so before this, Casca had taken leave. I had told you that that is, do so, farewell both, Casca says, after which they have Brutus and Cassius, they were discussing about Casca. That is, what a blunt fellow this grown to be. He was a quick metal when he went to school. That is, this was only after, they were talking behind Casca, only after Casca had left. Then Brutus and Cassius, they are there in the stage once more. They are alone. They are talking to each other. Now Brutus takes leave. Now after some words with each other, Brutus takes leave, and so Cassius says, okay. Brutus says that is if you want to come and talk to me tomorrow, please come to my house, or I'll go to yours. If you come to me, I'll wait for you at home. So Cassius says, I will do so. Till then, think of the world, and exit Brutus. Brutus goes away. Now Cassius stays back on the stage, and this is like talking to himself, soliloquy. Now he says, Brutus, thou art noble. Yet I see thy honourable metal may be wrought from that it is disposed. Therefore 'tis meet that noble minds keep ever with their likes. For who so firm that cannot be seduced? Because I can understand that you are noble, and I want you to be with noble people, because you can get convinced, you can change your mind. For who so firm that cannot be seduced? Caesar doth bear me hard, but he loves Brutus. Caesar actually doesn't love Cassius. He doesn't like him, but he loves Brutus. If I were Brutus now and he were Cassius, he should not humor me. That is, if I were Brutus now and Brutus Cassius, I will not allow him to humor me. He wouldn't be able to influence me as he is influencing Brutus. I will this night in several hands in at his windows throw. That is, in several hands, mean in different handwritings, in different styles of handwritings, he will be writing on bits of paper and throw in through the windows of Brutus's house, as if they came from several citizens, writings all tending to the great opinion, that is, as though the commoners, they are writing to Brutus, that Rome holds of his name. Whatever the impressions which Rome holds of his name, Cassius has planned to write them down on bits of paper and throw them into Brutus's window, as though they are coming from the commoners. I'm sorry. Writings all tending to be to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. That is, Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at in a very, in not a very straightforward and a nice way. People, as though people are not having a very good opinion about Caesar. Caesar is, that is the career, the Caesar is actually Caesar's ambition and career should be indirectly glanced at. And after this let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure. That is, they have literally planned to shake off Caesar. Otherwise, if we are not able to do that, Caesar will seat him sure. Caesar will establish himself securely, and these people, Cassius and all, he feels that they have to endure or tolerate worse days. So obviously he cannot let it happen. So he has planned to write on bits of paper and throw them into Brutus's windows, okay, into Brutus's house. With this we finish scene 2. We will continue with Act 1, Scene 3 in the next class.